Welcome back. 9:16 is your time. If you know someone that has a bad habit of lying, there's a very good chance that they've been doing that for a long time, since they were children. Our next guest says there is a way to stop it at an early age so that it is not a problem later in life. Licensed psychologist and author Dr. Erik Fisher, we like to call him Dr. E, joins us this morning with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And here's the thing, we were talking about it in the 8 o'clock hour in our hot topic. We were stunned by the numbers about how many times you're going to lie or be lied to in a day.
Right. Well, I think we have to look at that. I look at lying as a binary function. It's a 0 or it's a 1.
You do it or you don't.
Exactly. If it's slight exaggeration, it's still a lie. And and if it's something to manipulate somebody to make them happy, it's a lie. But basically, why kids lie is because we do. Drop the mic.
Wow.
But we have to look at it though too. That to me, in some part, lying is genetic. The tendency to lie may be partly genetic because it's part of temperament. The other thing we have to realize is how does our own culture within our family and our society at large reinforce lying? We look at our political climate right now. You see manipulations, exaggerations, outright lies all over the place, and we don't know what to believe. So we have to really recognize first when we're telling a lie, because parents tell lies. Own it. Often, though, parents are in denial about the realities, and then they even deny that their kids lie. My child wouldn't do that. Why? Because then it makes you look bad as a parent. But when we can recognize our children are not telling the truth, we can go back and verify what they're doing. Just yesterday, I got on my daughter's iPad. I said, Grace, I'm going to get in your iPad and I want to look on this because she had talked to me about this situation. And I looked in it and I called and I verified things with what the facts were. That was extremely helpful for her and I and our family and my wife to say, that we're going to verify facts. We'll call friends if we need to. We'll call parents if we need to, because there's a tendency that we want to make sure we slowly guide and encourage her to truth, honor, and integrity. And so in that, we have to see our desire to have our children live their life in truth, honor, integrity. We have to start there with that ourselves.
So factoring in all of what you just said, the nature and the nurture of it, does that mean it's normal for children to lie? It
is. I would say, it's a normal part of learning to navigate life. And so we have to remember, when we yell at our kids and we scream at our kids when they do things wrong, are we creating a culture that encourages lying to avoid pain? People lie to avoid pain, to test limits first. When kids start telling lies, well, can I get away with this? Then they might lie to aggrandize themselves, to make themselves look better, to increase power and status. So we have to understand the reasons why not just our kids tell lies, but why we grow to tell lies. Accept it as a part of development, but don't accept it as a way of life. And that's the key. Is I think a lot of ways we develop this sense of learned helplessness, that we accept lying, and, well, that's just the way it is. Don't settle for that. We settle for enough, and that's partly what's got our culture and things we have now, even with some of the things that have just happened this past week and weeks before with the shootings and things like that. That's all due to me, it's a sliding of our culture to a less than acceptable standard of parenting, of integrity, of honor, of truth, of relationships, and love and support.
But even you admit it's not a quick fix. It's an ongoing process, something that you've got to kind of develop and develop and develop over time.
Exactly. And what I say, parenting is like chipping a marble statue, a masterpiece, with a butter knife. So you're just chipping away and chipping away. And some kids are easier to chip at, and some kids take a little longer. But be aware that if you take a hammer and wrap that thing with a hammer and a chisel, you might break off the most valued piece of that. So be careful. Understand your kids' humanness. Understand your own. Take accountability for your lies when you tell them, and make sure your children are calmly and reasonably taking accountability for theirs, understanding why they tell the lies and what they're trying to get from them. This was a talker in our newsroom, right? It was yes, it was. It is our hot topic this morning, and so we're asking you this morning, what do you do when someone lies to you? Think about it. Tell us what you think on our Fox 5 Atlanta Facebook page. Tweet us at Good Day Atlanta. I'll be reading some of your truthful responses a little bit later in the hour.